Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and I am a new nurse on a psychiatric inpatient unit, and today I'd like to give you a quick rundown of what my typical day looks like. So I am a nurse resident and I work full-time. I do 12-hour shifts and it's split up that I do about 36 hours one week and then I'll do 44 hours the next week. So it's in a pay period, which is 2 weeks, I do 80 hours. It's a little bit confusing, but I basically get every other weekend off, and it's working so far. There's enough days of work together and then enough days off right after that I'm able to replenish myself and relax, do my self-care, and then I can start work fresh the next day. So most of what this year-long residency has focused on for me is to become a nurse that can take on a full team of patients by about the 6-month mark. This is a very slow process, but it's done in a way that just adds on more pieces and responsibilities as I'm ready. And so it's going at my pace, which I really love and appreciate. So back to my typical day. So at 7:30, I'm getting report from the off-going night shift nurses, and I hear the most important information that I need to know to take care of the patient during the day. Report takes about 30 minutes, so about 8 o'clock I go and I see my patients. At this point, I've checked in with my preceptor. We've decided which patients I'm going to take and which ones she's going to have. And she'll come with me when I interview my patients, but at this point, at the 2nd month mark, she's mostly just hanging back and is there if I have any questions. And sometimes that just is like a look like I'm stuck, like I don't know what to say next or whatever, and so she'll jump in. So she's been great. She's right there with me. But I'm mostly doing the talking and in the interviewing. When I interview a patient, I want to make it seem very conversational. I don't want to just barrage them with a bunch of questions. That can be very irritating for anybody. So I just ask them how they slept last night. I ask them, if they had their breakfast and, how was that? How much did they have? I check in about when their last bowel movement was. And then I start asking about their mood, which can be one of more subtle, nuanced, unique parts about psych nursing, because a huge part of our assessment is their mood. Are they having anxiety or depression? And it's not always what the words are that they're saying, it's how they're saying it and what their facial expression and body language is as they're saying it. So I'm taking this all in the best I can as they're sharing with me how they're feeling. I always ask in every interview if they're having any thoughts of hurting themselves or anybody else, and if they are seeing or hearing things that may not be there, or that somebody else may not see or hear. This is really important information to know as the nurse to ensure their safety, and so that I can communicate it with their doctor too. So we making sure that their treatment plan is progressing and the patient is getting better while they're under our care. So at first, asking that question was really awkward, but after almost 2 months of asking it, it's just really, it's not a big deal anymore, and it's coming from a place of care, and it's coming from a place of, there's no stigma around the question on our unit, because it's just such an integral part of why we're on a psychiatric inpatient unit, like why the patients are there. A lot of them are there because they were expressing thoughts of hurting themselves. So it's really important to ask, and we always ask it. It's just part of life. Part of life of being a psych nurse. You just gotta ask these things. The question about are you seeing or hearing things that may not be there? Some of the patients are very aware that in the past that they have, and they have great insight, and they're very aware that today I'm not but I was a week ago, and that's what brought me in to the unit. But some patients may not even be able to answer that question because they are literally hearing and seeing things right in the moment, right then. And then that's where the assessment skills of the nurse come in, because I'm just observing them. And if they look like they're reacting to something that's not there, or they're doing things with their body that it just seems like they're responding to some internal stimuli, then I'm taking note of that so I can chart about that, because that's really important, useful information for the treatment team to know. So I ask them during the interview what their goal is. I try to help encourage them when they are moving towards that goal. It's a really great time to get to spend time with my patients and to build rapport with my patients. So I don't like to hurry that process. Neither does my preceptor, and she's definitely taught me to keep it really more like conversational, but also being sure to always follow, like end it with that where I'll be, whether I'll be at the front nurse's station or the back nurse's station, so that they can come find me if they have any questions or concern. Also, the interview time is a really great time to ask the patient if they need anything, if are there any questions or concerns that they have for their treatment team, because I get to take that information and communicate it with their doctor, and oftentimes I'm the kind of go-between the communication. So that's really important to do. So after the interview, and I have all this like great information about how the patient's doing, there are team meetings. Team meetings are where a patient's nurse, their patient's social worker, the patient's doctors, usually their attending physician and their resident physician, all meet up to discuss the patient's treatment plan. And this can take as little as 5 minutes, or can take longer, like 10-15 minutes per patient, and we just share information and get on the same page. I can then take information I've learned from those meetings and send it back to the patient, so that the patient is involved in their care. That's one of the things we always aim for, is that the patient is empowered to be involved in their care, and they are the center of the treatment, and that they are involved in calling shots as much as possible, and that they are just empowered. So that's all happened. That's like a lot, and that's all happened by like 11 a.m. So by this time, I'm usually kind of low blood sugar, and I need to have a snack. So I usually go help myself to a snack about this time. And then I sit down at the computer and I start my charting. And charting can take so long. It takes like many hours during a nurse's day. We just have to chart how the patient's doing. We have to check in a lot to the computer, because maybe their medications changed and we need to be aware of that, and we're just constantly interacting with our computer. So that's part of being a nurse too. The rest of the day is up until I give report to the night shift and get to go home. The rest of the day is really kind of a wild card. We might get a new admission, we might have discharges, there might be an opportunity to lead a group, and that's one of the coolest, unique features about being a psych nurse, is that we lead these psychoeducational groups. All nurses do education. We do a lot of education as nurses, but on a psych floor, it's an opportunity to really find something that a nurse that I'm passionate about, and then be able to create some kind of interactive group with either offer it to all of the patients, or it can be specific to different patients. Like we have some Jerry psych patients, or we might have female patients. We can like tailor it and offer it to them. Some of the groups can be fun. They can be like games. They can be chair yoga. They can be, we did a group on stress management. There was a group on hand washing and personal hygiene. It's this really great opportunity for psych nurses to teach in a group, and also a great opportunity for the patients to interact with each other and with staff, and it's a really awesome part about being a psych nurse. So that's pretty much the rest of my day. I can do charting. I do patient rounding. I'm available for just when things pop up, unexpected things. I might do errands for the patient. I might go get their belongings if they're still in the emergency department. I call it an errand, but just little things like this to help the patient. So the patient feels so much better if they're able to wear their own personal clothes on the unit rather than a hospital gown. So I'm just available for the patients, and it's so varied just what comes up. It depends on who the patient is. Some patients are more needing my attention throughout the day and check in with me, or I check in with them every hour. And some patients, they're just like, they're more isolative and dismissive, and they just don't want to be interacted with. That doesn't mean I don't, because I still need to see how they're doing, but it just depends. Some of the patients are very social, and they just want to they just might want to chat about Marvel movies in the hallway, and I've done that with patients. It's really cool to be a psych nurse. I just have to say it's great. So I think that's it for my day. I give report, and then I'm pretty much walking out at 8 p.m. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe, and if you would like to have certain videos made, just leave me a comment with any questions you have, and I would be happy to make more videos. This process of being a nurse resident and making these videos has helped me so much to just stay engaged in what I'm doing, and to make sense of it all, because it's been a wild ride so far, but it's been wonderful, and I'm grateful for all the support that I've had from my preceptor and the other nurses on my unit, and my friends and my family. So thank you guys so much for your support. So that's it for me for right now. Take care.